The game has officially changed for Bitcoin and the crypto space as a whole. We are going to see moves like we have never ever seen before for Bitcoin and altcoins, and we already saw Bitcoin and how it's moving. But I truly want you guys to watch out for one thing, and I want you to keep that thing in mind, and I'm going to talk about it in this video. Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. My name is NIHM and welcome to the channel. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about the new Bitcoin ETF. Let's talk about altcoins, how they're doing, why they're not doing so well, and we're also going to talk about a few pieces of news that is going to take us to the moon. Now let's go. Let's start by taking a look at the general market. Let's take a look at the market cap. It's 2.4 trillion for the whole crypto space, and Bitcoin is still at number one with a market cap of $1.1 trillion. And right now it's sitting at 61.2 thousand, which is just about $3,000 away from the previous all-time high of $64,000. Guys, remember when we were back here at between 30 and 28k and people were calling for 20k, and I said, guys, be careful. If we don't go below this level right here, we're not going to go to 20k. But some people were just scared and they sold. But personally, as I always say, I trade with confirmation. So since I didn't see a close somewhere around here, I didn't see the candle close and start going down further. That's why all I did right here was buy more and go even heavier into altcoins, and it paid off big time, at least not with altcoins, but more specifically for Bitcoin right here. Now, take a look at Bitcoin. Right now we're at 61,000, which is 5.8% away from the previous all-time highs. We're so close. Now, why is that happening? Why is Bitcoin pumping like that? Now, a huge reason behind the pump that we saw is the Bitcoin ETF being launched right here. So the first Bitcoin ETF will be launched very soon. So ProShares will launch a long-awaited exchange-traded fund on the New York Stock Exchange linked to Bitcoin futures. The firm and the exchange told Dealbook the ETF will give investors exposure to Bitcoin without having to hold cryptocurrency directly via an ordinary brokerage account. Now, what this does is, I know some of you might be thinking, well, why would someone not want to directly hold Bitcoin? I'll tell you why. Because many people still think Bitcoin is risky and they just don't want to learn the new technology. It's mainly older people who have plenty of money. So what they prefer doing is going to a brokerage, telling them, I want to invest my money. And then the brokerage buys Bitcoin with some of that money. And this way they have exposure to some Bitcoin. So they'll get the fruits of the labor by increasing their money because of Bitcoin. And more money will be dumped into Bitcoin, which is going to increase the overall market cap of Bitcoin. And to put that into perspective, guys, retail investors like you and me don't really affect the market. And that is because to move Bitcoin 1%, we need $10 billion. So the only people who have this money is either institutional money or having people who have a lot of money gain exposure to Bitcoin using this ETF, which is going to dump way more money into crypto and specifically Bitcoin. And later on, I do see an Ethereum ETF, and who knows what we're going to see further down the road. Now, what is my issue with that? I completely have no issue other than the fact that this can be a trap for people. What do I mean by trap? So if you notice, this article says that the ETF will soon be launched. It's not launched yet. Now, what have we saw in crypto and what have we learned so far in crypto? We have learned a very important statement, and that is buy the rumor, sell the news, or buy the test net and sell the mainnet. Now, what that means is that when a piece of news comes out, all the hype and FOMO and excitement causes the price to go up and people buying and buying and buying. And as soon as the project is launched, or in this case, the ETF is launched, people are going to look at Bitcoin and say, oh, why isn't it moving? And all of a sudden, what's going to happen? They're going to start selling and looking for other assets. Thus, the price would make a small dip. Now, for the long run, ETFs are definitely the way that is going to take us to 100 and 200K. That's for sure. But for the short run, I do believe we're going to see a small correction for Bitcoin after the ETFs are launched. But what that means is that we're going to see altcoins boom at when the time comes, because we have talked about the money flow cycle in the crypto space where money moves from Bitcoin to large caps, mid caps, small caps, so on and so forth. In this case, we're in Bitcoin. The money is flowing clearly to Bitcoin. If you take a look, Bitcoin has been exploding, and if you take a look at other altcoins with their Bitcoin pairs, for example, Link Bitcoin, it's been going down. OMG Bitcoin, it's been better than others. Ethereum Bitcoin, slightly down. Uniswap Bitcoin, it's been going down. Cardano Bitcoin, also going down. So there's a common pattern where altcoins are right now losing value against Bitcoin, and that is Bitcoin has been ripping due to all the good news that's surrounding Bitcoin. Now, what that means for altcoins is that they're on discounts when it comes to Bitcoin. Even though altcoins might not be cheap against USD, against Bitcoin, they are becoming cheap, which is great, and which means that you can gain more or buy more altcoins with your Bitcoin, or you can buy cheaper altcoins against Bitcoin. What this means is that altcoin season is just around the corner. What I mean by altcoin season, I really don't like to label it, but what I mean by altcoin season is when altcoins are going to surge and go up in value in a crazy way. Now, if you take a look at this index right here, it's called the altcoin season index. It's an index I really like looking at. If you take a look, it shows you that when the line is down there, it's Bitcoin season. When it's in the middle, it's, I guess, somewhere in the middle. And when it's up there, it's altcoin season. Now, usually when we're up here, we're closer to the top of an altcoin season. And when we're down here, we're closer to a top of Bitcoin season. So to give you a small perspective on that, if you take a look, when we were down there back on August, let's say 18th of 2021, we were down here where it says Bitcoin season. Now, if you bought Bitcoin around that time, take a look at Bitcoin's chart around August 18th. This is August 16th. Right now, Bitcoin was at a top, and after that, we went down about 20%, and altcoins did take some dominance during that time. Now, what this tells us is that since we're in the middle, right here, I do think it's time to buy altcoins because they're fairly cheaper because we're closer to Bitcoin season. And when we get up there, then you can dump it back into Bitcoin. Keep in mind not to sell it when we're directly up there because what we saw here was the start of altcoin season. Actually, it started down there, but we did see a huge growth from here moving forward. That's why we were up there for a while, but it's definitely not a bad idea to take some profits on altcoins when we're up here in this area. Now, the scenario that I see playing out is that Bitcoin is pumping right now. I do see this being resisted at this point, where we're going to get some resistance at 64K, maybe test it again and jump out of it. After that, I don't know where we're going, sky's the limit, but it's no big deal if we go down again to test the 64K range to make it support and then keep going up after that. And I see this going on. Now, whether we see a further pullback, maybe even to 40K, it could be the case. It may be unlikely, but it could be the case. But this only gives altcoins more room to grow. But eventually, Bitcoin will have to pull back at a certain point, whether it's after the launch of ETFs where people are going to dump, or whether it's before the news of ETFs and just at the resistance of 64K before we even break the previous all-time high. Eventually, this is going to give altcoins some room to grow. And if you take a look at altcoin dominance, I believe this is going to be the support, if not down here at 50%. I truly believe 50% is the lowest we're going to go, if not 51.5% at this green line right there. And after that, I do believe that altcoins are going to explode and head to higher levels and break the previous all-time high, which is at the green line that's up there. When is this going to happen? When's the time frame? I truly don't know. I don't think anyone can tell when exactly that's going to happen, but I'm assuming it's going to start in Q4 of 2021, which is in the coming 2 months, and in the beginning of 2022, Q1. Another very bullish piece of news that is more related to altcoins than Bitcoin, and it's more related to the NFTs, is the company Epic, which is the company behind Fortnite, which is a game if you haven't heard of it. And Epic Games is open to blockchain game developers, but the company has no NFT plans. This came out after Valve banning crypto and NFT related games on Steam. And now the reason for that is very clear. So the way Steam makes money is by selling the games, and I believe it makes more money by selling skins in the game, such as Counter-Strike skins or knife skins or Dota 2 hero skins, whatever it is. Now, these skins, believe it or not, are technically NFTs, but Steam owns those NFTs. They can take them whenever they want. Now, including NFT games or blockchain games or even NFTs, which are trustless and they have no one owner, Steam doesn't want that, and they want to take all the money for themselves and make the fees as high as they want. Now, I do believe Steam is going to regret that. Who am I to judge? But as we saw, banks who dismissed Bitcoin early on, or companies that dismissed Bitcoin early on, are buying Bitcoin at 50 and 60K right now. I'm pretty sure that's the same thing that's going to happen with Steam, because, for example, take a look at JP Morgan. They dismissed Bitcoin. They dismissed it for a while until they entered fairly recently. And the same thing is going to happen with Steam, in my opinion. And I do believe Epic Games in the next 10 years or so is going to completely overtake Steam because of this slight move, which is being open to blockchain and open to innovation. Even though Steam can really benefit from NFTs in general and having blockchain games, probably in the short term, it's going to make them lose some money because they make so much money already from having their own skins and not having blockchain-based games and having their own games. But for the long run, I do believe blockchain is going to be, or whoever is going to invest in blockchain is definitely going to win in this case. Now, that's it for today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new here. And if you want to take a look at what I buy and what I sell, I do give out alerts on my Patreon. The link is in the description as well. That's it. Thanks for watching. Peace out.